Alright, so I'm thinking at this point it might be better just to take all this stuff off. Take the fuel pump off, and if you're going to do that, you got to undo these electrical connections. Not a big deal, just poke a screwdriver in there, they pop straight out. To remove the fuel pump, you got to take the screw out, which allows you to open that bracket. Take that off. You have to do a little bit of a wiggle here. Grab the pump, lift it up, twist it a little bit this way, and then it come right out. Alright, so now comes the not so fun part of cleaning out the old plastic, and I'm going to show you how I did it. I'm not saying it's the best way. Alright, so it turns out this thing's a little stubborn. What I've done, I've drilled it out, and so the air can pass between the two. And then what I'm doing is I'm using a torch, heating up this knife, and just going down the one side, just barely engaging the threads a little bit. And so I'm going to keep going around maybe 4 times. That should be enough to let me break that out. So what I've found, the best way for me to get these things cleaned out, use my torch, heat it up, take my pick, get in there, and this is usually what I can get out. Now you got to be a little careful because I don't want to get this thing too hot, so keep checking it. Alright, so I've pretty much cleaned out these threads, and I think they're going to be good enough. Alright, so what you're going to want to do is run these taps in 2 or 3 times. Make sure you get it snugged down pretty good. Back it out, clean the threads, and we'll go to the next step. Alright, so they're in. I did want to give a shout out to Gotham Cycles. They're the ones that had these taps, and they also had these little O-rings that you are supposed to put on the quick connect that inserts in there. So you want to get new of that. When you're putting these taps in, make sure you use thread tape. Doesn't matter, yellow or white will work. I prefer yellow because it's a little thicker and I don't have to wrap it so much. And then I kind of go around the threads with my hand and just make sure they're snugged in, or they're tight. Then screw it in, and you're not going to get these things to go in all the way, but that's snug. And what I did too is I put the release levers facing towards the back, so it'd be a little easier for you. That's the way they were, and I wanted to go back to that. Alright, so this is how it's going to work when it's in place. The white hose on the right is the return, and the left hose, the one I'm pointing to, is the supply. And that's coming right off the fuel pump. This is where the filter goes. But I just wanted you to see that this is how it's gonna. This is the setup. Nothing really special, but it's good to know. Alright, so the taps are in. I'm glad of that. I'm still waiting on parts. Should have parts in the next few days. So at that point, I'll reassemble the fuel pump and all the filter, new hoses, everything, new O-ring, and reinstall that on the tank. So that's all for this one. Thanks for watching.